There's some insane new rumors surrounding Roman Reigns, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's going on with WWE's free agency, WWE Draft results, and more. Let's start things off with a look at the outcome of the 2023 WWE Draft. The WWE Draft is usually an exciting time of the year for WWE. It's a time where rosters get shaken up, superstars switch brands, NXT superstars get called up, and tons of new matchup possibilities start coming into play. So it's a nice sort of reset button for WWE television, and it's basically like the brand new start of the calendar year. It's also been quite some time since the previous draft, so everyone thought that this recent draft was well overdue. Some of the real big changes and swaps of the draft will be happening with both women's titles and both the men's mid-card titles. Rhea Ripley has been drafted to Raw, but currently holds the Smackdown women's title, while Bianca Belair currently holds the Raw women's title, but she's been drafted to SmackDown. This really isn't difficult at all, and this is something that they did just a few years ago with Becky and Charlotte. Everyone expects Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair to swap titles and continue to be on their way. So Rhea Ripley becomes the Raw Women's Champion and Bianca Belair becomes the SmackDown Women's Champion. Some fans have even been wondering and theorizing if WWE just could drop the Raw and SmackDown labels in the women's titles, and maybe have those world titles go by slightly adjusted names, so that there doesn't have to be a title swap. And that's a possibility as well, because that's exactly what's going on with the men's mid-card titles. Austin Theory and Gunther will not literally swap titles because mid-card titles don't have a Raw or SmackDown label on them. So as a result of that, Gunther will peacefully bring the Intercontinental title over to Raw, while Austin Theory brings the United States title over to SmackDown. No title swap needed, no confusion for the title status. They just take their titles into their new respective brands. So fans are wondering if that may be the case one day for the women's division, if those brand labels are removed from the title. Both those are major switches there for the current champions. There's also a huge batch of NXT superstars coming over to the main roster. And fans have mixed feelings about that as well, because even though it's great to see all these new faces on Raw and SmackDown, some fans are wondering if NXT was gutted a bit too much of their top talents. Another big controversial topic coming out of the WWE Draft was the free agency section of the roster and how exactly that works. Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Ali, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, Elias, Von Wagner, Zion Quinn are all now considered free agents because they were available to be drafted, but neither brand was interested in their services. So that's your list of superstars that went undrafted and unwanted. However, there's also some premium, more high-quality free agents as well. That list includes Brock Lesnar and Omos. So in Omos's case, he's not a free agent because no one wanted him. He's a free agent because MVP negotiated a deal for Omos to be free and bring his talents to both brands. Same thing goes for Brock Lesnar. He'll be able to bounce back and forth between both shows, and WWE can use him wherever they want. It's also a bit unclear if those rules apply to the other free agents. Can a regular free agent appear on both shows until they're signed? That's still a bit cloudy there, but the draft is now done. Triple H has officially split the roster into his likings, and we'll have to see what comes next. Fans are also curious to see just how long the brand split rules will stay in place. Usually right after a draft, superstars are exclusive to one show. But then after a few months, they sort of forget their own rules and superstars start making regular appearances on both shows, with no explanation given. So that's something that the fans will also be keeping an eye on. Will it be a strict brand split, or will they start forgetting about it in a few months? We'll have to see how the 2023 draft pays off in a couple of months. Now let's get back into some bloodline related matters because there's a lot going on there. The first big piece of news there for them is the big rumor about Roman Reigns' Undisputed Universal Title and how long he may continue to carry that title for. There was a big rumor and report going around recently that WWE allegedly wants to update their history books with some long title reigns for their champions. They did that recently with the Usos. They became the longest reigning tag team champions in all of WWE history. And they're continuing to do that even more with 3 current champions. These champions are Bianca Belair, Gunther, and Roman Reigns. Bianca recently passed 1 full year as champion and isn't showing any signs of slowing down. Gunther is approaching 1 year as champion and even expects him to also make history as the longest reigning intercontinental champion ever. And that brings us to Roman Reigns. And you may be asking yourself, well, he's surpassing 1,000 days as champion. Isn't that enough history? Well, according to this rumor, WWE reportedly wants Roman Reigns to shatter Hulk Hogan's WWE title reign of 1,400 plus days. And if that's true, and if that's the plan they're going with, that's pretty much confirmation that Roman Reigns will remain Universal Champion at least until September of 2024. So again, it's not absolutely solid and confirmed, but the fact that there's rumors going around that WWE may want Roman to surpass Hogan's title reign, that means that what Roman and Heyman said after WrestleMania 39 may be true after all. Maybe Roman really is in the 3rd inning of his title reign. If they go through with this plan, that means that Roman survives the rest of 2023 as champion, he survives WrestleMania 40 as champion, survives next year's SummerSlam as champion, and takes the title into the last few months of 2024. So that will be big if true, and then we'll be talking about Roman Reigns possibly surpassing 1,500 days as champion, which is something that may never get broken or seen again in WWE. Some fans are curious, though, about how WWE will pull off a storyline around the fall of Roman Reigns and the Bloodline without Roman actually losing the titles. Well, for the time being and what we can tell right now, it seems like the fall of the Bloodline is being focused around the Usos losing their titles, and how Roman couldn't care any less for them since all they do is lose big matches. So that's the main focal point right now for the fall of the Bloodline. It's not so much about Roman losing the titles, but it's more about the Usos not living up to Roman's expectations anymore. So that'll be the story going forward. WWE teased the idea of Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman forcefully distancing themselves from the Usos by having the Usos get drafted separately, but that didn't work out and the Usos still got drafted to Smackdown. So that issue isn't going anywhere for the Bloodline, so Roman will have to find a way to address the situation and failure from the Usos. We saw that Roman Reigns was ready to send in Solo Sikoa to take out the Usos, but that was interrupted. So will he give that plan another try, or will he readjust his plans? So Roman Reigns may not be losing his titles at all during all of these cracks within the Bloodline, but it's still going to be interesting to see what happens between the Usos and Roman, because it looks like Jay is starting to wake up to what exactly is happening and seeing past Paul Heyman's lies. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.